Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Roger Wakefield's Plumbing Education. That would be me. I am Roger Wakefield. I want to say, number one, God, it's been so long. I almost don't remember what buttons to push. I'm wearing a burnt orange shirt today because it is Texas Beats OU Saturday. And as you see, I've got a very special guest in here today. I've got Brent in here to talk about corporate credit. Brent, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm actually an Oklahoman too for the Texas OU game, but I'm not an Oklahoma fan, so I'm in good company.
I was going to say, wait a minute, to show me in real quick here. Man, this is great. If you're new here and this is your first time in, hang around. We're gonna talk corporate credit, but we're still talking plumbing. We're talking to trades, everything we do. If this is your first time here, glad to have you. I really am. But if this is something you do all the time, you're here every Saturday, and I already see some names I know. Man, thank y'all for coming back. Good to see you here. It is going to be great. So, and if you've got questions, please put a Q in front of the question before you ask it. That way I'll know, and I'll really do. I try to get to every one of those. So we'll jump in and see what all we can do here. I am pressing all my buttons, getting everything right. But I'm going to jump into the questions real quick. Kel L says, Roger, will you be in town October 19th, 26th, coming down for my cancer care? I will be in town, Kel. I've got, I'm with Go High Level, one of my sponsors. And I actually, and say in the beginning that the show is sponsored by them. If you want to learn a CRM to help you grow your business and does so many things, it's going to be amazing. But Go High Level, check it out, www.gohighlevel.com/Roger Wakefield. So, Cal, I will be in town, but I'm with them from the 20th to the 25th, and I think I'll fly out on the 26th, but we'll talk. I'll be in your area. I like that. Squirt's in the house, says, good morning, crew. MT Plumber says, good afternoon, or not quite, but we're getting there, at least where I'm at. Urban Carlson says, hello from Sweden. When do you get snow? We get snow like maybe December, January, around in there. Sometimes a little before, sometimes a little after. Brother Chris Shreves in the house. And Tindong Jr. says, hello, Roger, and good morning. All day gaming. Should a first-year apprentice, almost second-year apprentice, be making close to minimum wage? No. Matter of fact, if you're a first-year plumber and you are making minimum wage, I'd be looking for another place to make more money. Denver Charboy, what's up? Good to see you in here. I see it now and missed you, buddy. You know, man, it's been a while. It's been a while. I'm going to take just a second. Brent, man, tell everybody who you are and what you do and why you're here with us today.
All right. Yeah. So my name is Brent Barnhart. I'm an entrepreneur. Have been. Okay. Yeah. So my name is Brent Barnhart. I'm a entrepreneur, have been for 25 years. And I'm actually helping businesses now establish corporate credit where they can get funding on their EIN number.
On an EIN number. Now, most people I know, most businesses I know, all have their businesses, their business credit on their Social Security card.
100%. 100%.
Or Social Security number, not even on the card. You can't get no credit on it.
Yep.
But there's a whole nother way.
There's a whole nother world. You have personal credit, business credit, and then corporate credit. Corporate credit is all on the EIN. Business credit is on you and the business. And then, of course, everybody knows personal credit.
And if you mess up on your business, you get behind on payments. You got vendors that aren't paying you. You know, the world happens, and you're like, man, I'm jacked. And you get real far behind. You can't get caught up. Maybe finally one day you do get caught up. How hard is it to go in and fix that? Because it's not just fixing your business credit, it's also your personal credit, because they're both affected.
Right. So when you're talking about fixing stuff on the business credit profile, it's a completely different animal than fixing stuff on your personal credit profile. It can be done a lot quicker. It's actually all you have to do is show that you paid something and they'll remove it. They'll have a track record of your previous payments, but that's more of a trending schedule rather than a an actual dollar amount that tells you how much you're past due all the time. So it's just a trending number. So if you can move past a hard time where you can't pay the bills, then you can help that corporate credit get there quicker.
Okay, if you can fix it on your business credit, it still doesn't fix it as quick on your personal credit, though, does it?
No. Well, so the interesting thing is that so I had since I started doing this, I separated my personal credit from my business's credits. And I've always, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, my credit score has always been somewhere in the mid sixes, upper sixes. And once I've got that true separation, meaning that I'm not spending anything personally on my business through my business or personal credit, my personal credit went to 839. First time ever it went over 800.
Yeah,
and
I can't get mine over 8.
Yeah, I was so excited. I was at an event in Washington D.C. getting ready to go speak, and I was so excited that I got that on my credit alert, and I screenshotted it because I want to show my wife because we compete against who has better credit, right? And so I actually ended up, as I spoke that day, started using that and showing people this is what happens to your personal credit when you separate yourself out of the business.
That is so wild. I'm trying to make it work now. I don't know which one I didn't push right or do right. See, I had that on just a second ago. All right. Wait, we're playing with our buttons. See, I told you guys it's been a while. But most businesses out there don't have corporate credit, do they?
Nope. Everybody thinks that just by paying your bills on time every month that you have corporate credit or business credit. Less than 5% of institutions report. I had a $6 million trucking company that I was spending, probably $5.5 million a year, and none of that stuff was reporting. So my credit limit recommendation on that company was $7,600, which is crazy for a $6 million company.
Okay. We're going to come back to that one and jump back in the comments real quick. Matt Hansen says, would you recommend pivoting from being a ironworking apprentice, second-year ironworking apprentice, to being a plumber like my grandfather? Number one, plumbers are so much smarter than ironworkers. I mean, I don't mean that bad, but here's why I would say yes to that, Mike. And it's not just because it's your grandfather or anything, although I do think that's neat. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I think plumbing, electrical, and HVAC are the three. And I'm going to say skilled trades, and I know ironworkers are skilled trades, so please don't take this wrong. Most states require a license for these. So if it requires a license, I think that you definitely have the opportunity to make more money. You'll be able to open your own company, which is, while we're talking about corporate credit, it's a great time to hear about it. But you'll have the ability to open your own company a lot easier than you would opening an ironworking company, unless you're, last name's Rockefeller and you got enough money in the bank just to buy millions of dollars worth of steel to go ahead and erect a building. So I like the idea of plumbing. The good thing is you've got in a couple of years as an iron worker, you understand job sites, you understand safety, you understand working with tools, you understand leadership, you understand a lot of things, or I hope you do. And I think that you'd have a great opportunity there. Grouchy Pimp. And if I was a pimp, I would not be I'm just going to throw that out there. Shout out to everyone on the call. Thank you, sir. Watermelon says, hi, Roger. If I'll go bald and good-looking beard, do I have chance of getting accepted to the apprentice program? You don't have to go bald. This is not really baldness. This is a solar panel for a highly functioning, intelligent something right here. I don't know. The mustache may help. I'm going to throw that out there. I think it's helped me a lot. Denver Sharp Boy says, Roger, what state would you say have the best locals? I've been thinking of transferring from my local in Ontario to America so I can save for a home. Denver, I like New York is probably going to be one of the highest paying one, local one. San Francisco, California is really good. Chicago, those are probably three of the biggest, strongest locals that there are. Anybody who has not checked out the app, number one, and I like doing this, if you want to check out the app, and we've got the Roger Wakefield app now, you can text the word Wakefield to 26786, and there's the logo for it right there. And text the word Wakefield to 26786 if you have an Apple. If you have an Android, text the word outhouse to 26786. And then you'll get to find out what it's all about. But I love that. Let's see. Overall plumbing. Hey, we have fun. I promise. Nina Panzarella says hello from Plumbers Are Us. Plumbers Are Us. Good to see you in here. How many businesses come to you and you go in and look at it? They've been doing things right. They've got good business credit. They've got good personal credit. They're 750 to 800. They look good on paper.
How many come to me that are that way?
And have zero credit corporate.
A lot of people. I mean, when businesses think they have corporate credit, they most times don't. The average credit limit recommendation on a corporation I see is about $1,500. Doesn't matter the size of the company. When I pull the credit, it'll come in at about $1,500. Sometimes I see them higher. I had one the other day, it was $330,000, but it was a $6 million company or a $5 million company. So they should have had a whole lot more because he's spending that money. So it's all about, like I said, getting that creating that demonstrated ability to borrow and pay reflected on those 3 business credit bureaus.
And we talked about it a while ago. The one that was doing $5 million a year and had $300,000 in credit was spending $4.5 million a year. So really, he should have been able to borrow about that amount at any time.
Right. Over time, if you can demonstrate your ability to borrow and pay, when we get our first credit card when we turn 18, you go out, you get it so you can build credit. At first, they give you a $200 limit card. You build over time. Now you've got a $20,000, $30,000 credit card. Same concept. It moves a lot faster. We can move it a lot faster in the corporate credit world.
It really blew my mind. And I mean, I've seen real estate people in rooms, conferences, stuff like that say, look, I've got $1 million credit limit on my credit cards. Most of that's personal. Probably all of it.
All of it's personal.
It blows my mind because I see that and I thought that's the last thing that I would want. Because if anything bad happens, I'm going to charge up every credit card I got. Now my credit score is going to 0 and I'm going to owe everybody in the world. That's a scary place to be, isn't it?
It is. I used to own a $6 million trucking company, and the month of lockdown during COVID, I was buying so many trucks. My personal credit was ran 42 times. What do you think my personal credit looked like?
Man, it goes like this, it goes like this, and then it goes like that.
Yeah.
And even me, if I try to pay off my personal credit cards like every week or two.
Right.
Probably not the best thing in the world, but if I don't, and a credit score runs it, and say I've got a credit card up to 15, 20 grand, they're like, oh, your credit score just took a big hit. It's like, but I pay this thing off every single month, y'all. And they don't see that. They're like, well, we checked at this point, and you're over what, 20% or 30% of your credit ratio that you have? And it's like, stuff like that's tough. But if you've got corporate credit and you're doing things right, it never affects your personal, does it?
It doesn't affect your personal, and there is no debt to income when it comes to a business. The more you use, the more they want to give you.
Man. Guys, here's the deal. It takes money to make money. I don't know if y'all know that, but even me, when I started my company, I was going out and doing jobs so I'd make money so I could go buy materials or tools to make more money. And that's the way a lot of companies grow. What do companies need to do? If there's a company out there, say one of the plumbers or electricians in here, literally, and look, Overall Plumbing says this is golden advice. And Overall Plumbing, do me a favor, leave me a comment in here and tell me, do you have corporate credit for your plumbing company? What do companies, so say Overall Plumbing says, no, I have no corporate credit. I've been in business 5 years. How do they do it? What does it take to really grow corporate credit?
So they have to be spending money.
Okay. Which I'm sure they're a plumbing company. They are.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to capture every expense they can that they use every day, their everyday expenses. So we go in, we make sure that everything's lined up. There's over 150 things that banks look at to determine if Overall Plumbing is a good company, if they want to look at them or do business with them. And so what we do is we make sure all those things are lined up. We make sure that the company's registered correctly with all 3 business credit bureaus. And then we start getting them the tools that report versus the tools that don't report. Spending the money and paying for it. Spending and paying every month. And as you continue to do that, you're creating that demonstrated ability to borrow and pay reflected on those 3 credit bureaus.
Okay, so and I know that you bring people in, you onboard them, you talk them through, because it's kind of scary. I mean, when you're like, look, this is a whole new way to build credit, and it's at so many different levels. What does the onboarding process look like? And then what's the very first thing somebody has to do?
So the onboarding process is really simple, actually. So I usually meet with people, and then I, bring them on board and get them connected to my back office. My back office will call them, give them access to our platform, and then it's just a matter of plugging in all their business information, and it'll guide you through correcting any of the mistakes that they're going to find in the first 2 steps, because there are always mistakes, doesn't matter the size of the company. But that's what it's just a simple process, honestly. We've got this down to a science. So you just log into the platform, it guides you through it, it verifies the information by scouring the internet, getting information about your business.
The onboarding process with you, step 1.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody always asks, what's the one thing I have to do? What is the one thing that's going to give me corporate credit? And you've got a list of 150 things to start out with.
The most important thing, especially somebody starting a new business, number one, you have to have an address that matches everywhere.
What about virtual addresses? Because those are the big, latest, greatest thing in the world.
That's all I use, virtual addresses for everything. And I'll explain why. So overall plumbing, let's just say this overall plumbing works out of their home. If they have a couple of gentlemen out on the road and they throw a rock through somebody's windshield, they can look up that company name and go to the person that got hit, their windshield hit, could go back to that person's house and be pissed off. Now, I owned a big trucking company. I was always concerned that one of my 120 drivers, threw a rock through somebody's windshield, and my wife and kids are at home, and I'm not there.
Yep.
So virtual addresses are amazing. I have one. I have multiple of them, but I have one that they actually forward me my mail. If a package comes up, that's the only time I've ever went there.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, Roger, it's actually an attorney's office. So somebody's coming
Looks
there
good
looking,
on paper.
Yeah, well, somebody's coming looking for me for a rock through their windshield, and they pull up, and it's an attorney's office. They're like, whoa, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe I'll skip this one here. Water Malone says, I'm from Canada, but still having troubles deciding sprinkler fitter or plumbing. What's your advice? Again, look, and I've done the sprinkler fitter stuff. I did it for a couple of years, learned to get really good at brazing. But what I will tell you is that plumbing has a license, and even in Canada. Now maybe your sprinkler fitters are a licensed trade too, but down here in Texas, a sprinkler fitter's not. The person who owns the company has a license. But what I like about this is that in Texas and a lot of the United States, plumbers, plumbers, HVAC techs, and electricians all have a license. And I think when you're licensed, you make more money. It's kind of crazy. Brett Baxter says, are you a union plumber, Mr. Wakefield? Do you think unions are the way to go? Look, I have nothing against the union. I think one of my favorite things about the union, and TikTok, Instagram, I'd love to know what y'all think. If y'all have time and can jump over on YouTube, I'd love to hear your comments. But I truthfully think that having a license is going to put you in a position to make more money. Well, the union has an amazing training program to help you get there and help you learn the things that you need to learn. The neat thing about that is that, so does PHCC. I actually went to Birmingham, Alabama this last week and spoke at PHCC and did some podcast interviews. Man, it was so great to be there. But any place that you can come in and get training and education and stuff like that it's a great thing to do. The more you learn, the better you can do. The union has a great training program. Tom Bigley was actually there, so it was neat to get to see him and talk to him. He's the director of plumbing for the UA. So I've always thought, look, the union has a great program. There's things about it I don't like. I'm honest about it. But at the end of the day, if you're getting into the trades, you want to get an education. If you want to get better corporate credit, you better get an education. You don't just wake up one day and think, okay, today I'm going to build my corporate credit. It doesn't happen that way. You've got to get educated and learn how to do it and learn how to do it right. Overall Plumbing, thank you so much. I'm looking over here now to see if your answer came in about the corporate credit, and I don't see anything yet. 213 Boys Liga Team says, hey, Roger, just wanted to shout out Leak Pro was able to help a client find a slab leak that saved them money. Thanks for the great tool helping plumbers. I tell you what, man, do me a favor. Put your name in there. I want to make sure Randy reaches out to you. We are finally getting to the point where we're starting to build reviews for Leak Pro. I love that. I think Leak Pro, that's why we acquired that company. I think it is the best leak detection equipment out there for plumbers. And I think if every plumber out there learned how to use it, they could probably double their revenue. It is crazy. And again, the very first person we ever trained on that, Randy and I flew to California to do a 2-day training. He went home to North California, and the next call, the next day, Monday, when he went back to work, the first job he did for leak detection, he sold $21,000 job. So it's a great way to grow your business. Mark Quinn says, Roger, be careful, my friend. He will say you're a scammer after this podcast. Be careful, my friend. I'm not sure who you're talking about, Mark. Ken says, hey, Roger, thanks for all the informative videos. Just started day school for third term. Just started day school for your third time. Life's been awesome since joining the local. Thanks again. Ken, congratulations. Look, guys, whether you're joining the local, whether you're joining a company that puts their people through training through PHCC, either way, get a training, get education, learning how to do something. You know, people ask me all the time, how'd you grow on YouTube? I started hiring coaches. I started hiring people that had done it, that did the things that I wanted to do. And that's how you grow and get better. You find somebody that knows how to do it. So big deal. Patrick Ramirez put in a link right there. It says search the state for the local union office. It's not real hard. And I know somebody put down in here that it's hard to get a job in a union. Guys, it's not that hard. Really, it was pretty easy for me. Here's the thing. Everybody's looking for good plumbers right now. And I know you put the UA in there, but the UA is the IBEW, the sheet metal workers. Everybody is looking for good tradespeople. So these people that tell me all the time, it's so hard to get in, it's so hard to get a job. Guys, there's over 1 million unfilled trades jobs across the United States right now. It's not hard to get a job if you really want one. Demmer says, Water Malone, there's more work as a plumber. Probably so. Overall Plumbing says, no, this is Isaiah. Been in business 4 years. Haven't used any credit. I'm scared of credit. Man, what do you say to that?
What do smart business people do?
What do smart business people do? They have it in case they need it.
Use other people's money.
Yeah.
You keep your money and you invest your money and let the banks carry you. So that's, I have businesses all the time that I talk to that are like, I'm a, $15 million company. I pay everything in cash. And then they hear me speak and they're like, I should have been borrowing money and investing my money in other things. So that way, if their company goes down, they've got other avenues. They didn't lose all their money.
And the funny thing is too, at a $15 million a year company, say you're spending 13 million of that. Say you're making 2 million, you're a clear profit walking away. It means you're spending 13 somewhere. Say you want to buy a new business. You want to roll out. People talk about rolling up. I'm going to buy more plumbing companies. Roll out. Buy an electrical company, an HVAC company, a garage door company, something like that. If you got $13 million credit, you can buy most of a business.
It opens up the door for you.
It really does. And you take the money you're making off that business to pay that 13 million back. And now you're like, man, we didn't even spend any of our money. And we doubled our size, depending on how big the company is, but doubled our size. But now your multiplier, when you go to sell, maybe goes from 2 to 3x to 5 to 10x. Now you're worth even more. And you were able to do that with available credit. And look, I don't mind people being afraid of credit. That tells me they're going to pay it back. They're going to say, look, I've got a loan. You're talking about a guy in business here by your hotel last night.
Yep.
And he's literally like, I was afraid of making this payment. He went almost to like a loan shark to get money.
100%.
And it's like, that's not the way to go. You sat and figured, what kind of interest do you think he's paying? We had the conversation a while ago.
Yep. So he said 35%. It's a daily pay. It's probably somewhere actually on an annualized basis about 180%.
And then you told me a story about a guy who got corporate credit, went and got more money than he thought he needed, or more money than he thought he could, and had like a 1.35 interest rate or something.
Yeah, it was a gentleman buying a new Ford Transit, a painting company, needed a brand new Ford Transit. He went into Ford dealership after working with us for about 4 or 5 months, and this is about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He actually got approved on his EIN number for 1.9% interest.
And guys, that does not affect your personal credit at all. Your corporate credit doesn't even know you bought it. It is that disconnected from it. That's what's big about this. And that's why, look, I first met Brent 10 months ago, January. No, it was even sooner than that. It was March when it was in Dallas. So, yeah, 8 months ago, 7 months ago. And guys, here's the thing. I've thought about corporate credit every day since then. What do you have to do to build it? Y'all know I'm trying to build an event center. There's all kinds of things I'm trying to do. Corporate credit would make it nice because I know where the money's coming from. I know how I'm going to do it. That's not a problem. It would probably be smart of me to say, look, I'm just going to go ahead and build it, start getting it making money. But why I do it, where that money's coming from, that'll make the payments. There's so many ways. What corporate credit does, it gives you peace of mind. You're not worried about anything. You're like, if something comes up, we got this covered. And that is really cool. Okay, Plumbers R Us says, how do you get your company registered for corporate credit?
How do you get your company registered? Do you mean, I guess the question would be, there's several different ways. You have to, there's the bureaus. There's 3 different bureaus. Most everybody's heard of Dun & Bradstreet, and I see that's the next question.
The next question he put up says Dun & Bradstreet. What do you think of it?
Dun & Bradstreet, first of all, there's 3 bureaus. Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, and Equifax Business, and those 2 are separate than personal. You have to actually go out and physically register with them and register correctly. A lot of companies we set with have 5, 6, 7, 8 different profiles, and we have to then work to merge them all together and have one correct one. So if you get things done the right way at the beginning, it's not hard. It's just a matter of doing it the right way in the right order. So when it comes to the credit bureaus, you know, they're doing what they're supposed to do, I guess, if that makes sense. So they're working with institutions, they're figuring out what's reporting, and then they're reflecting it on your credit report. So without them, there'd be no corporate credit, and I wouldn't have a job. So, you know, that's I love them, I guess, in that aspect. But Dun & Bradstreet can be one of those that's hard to get along with. Things tend to work really slow with them, but we work through it.
And it is what it is. Remember, guys, this video is sponsored by Go High Level. If you do not have a CRM for your company, if you don't have your phone set up where people can text in, if you don't have your phone set up where if you miss a call, it will automatically text them back. If you're not tied into your Google business profile, and your Facebook and your Instagram and everything working together, if you're not doing anything for reputation management, go to www.gohighlevel.com/Roger Wakefield and check it out. If you're in business, you need to be communicating with your people or your future people, and this is one of the best ways to do it, and that's why I teamed up with them. So it really is good stuff. Plumbers R Us says, what do you think of Dun & Bradstreet? They said I need to register with them to establish my company credit. That, like Brent just said, that's about 1/3 of the way there. So there's more things to do.
Let me jump on that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that the question he's saying is they're trying to sell him on building the corporate credit.
Their package.
Yep. And Dun & Bradstreet, they do a great job for Dun & Bradstreet. If you stop paying them, they stop working with you. I mean, well, anybody, they're going to stop working with you, but they're going to actually take your score away from you. So what we do is we work with all 3 bureaus, and for what they charge, I believe we're a fraction of what Dun & Bradstreet charges just for the one, and we do all 3 bureaus.
Somebody hires you today, and it takes them a year to get things built up and going good. Do they know what to do from then on, or do they have to keep working with you? Like Dun & Bradstreet, you said you quit working with them, and they're not helping you anymore. None of that.
We are giving one-on-one coaching. The idea is that, and you get unlimited coaching. Roger, you can call them every day if you want to. You can call them every day and ask questions. It doesn't matter if they're busy; they will actually answer the phone or call you back within an hour. But they will answer any question you have. The goal is to teach you how to do this. So that,
and you say they, you mean your people?
My people, my back office.
Okay.
Yeah, my back office people will teach the business owner how to do this. If the business owner has the, asks the questions and gets the answers, they'll do one, and then they could start another company in another year and do it themselves.
Squirt, I see you're in here. Can you connect your microphone and camera? I was looking to see if you had texted me or anything. If you'll connect that, I just want to ask you a couple of questions about this. Stephen H1 says the union doesn't hire easy. And see, I had the complete opposite results. I went down, filled out my paperwork, talked to them on like a Thursday or something. They're like, well, it's liable to be a while. We're looking for plumbers. And don't get me wrong, guys. This was 1997. I know I'm old, but in 1997, and literally when I did that, I got a call Friday. Says, can you be at this address on Monday morning? I said, absolutely. And man, it was like I got a $6 an hour pay raise going on to that first union job. So it's kind of nice. My brother, Gabriel, what's happening? Good to see you. Says, look at these two amazing stars. Anybody out there, and I love the fact that I get to have people in that help y'all, that help our community, because stuff like this is great. And it's so good because it's not that we're amazing stars. We're talking about what we do and teaching people about it. And to me, that's what makes it all amazing. Overall Plumbing says, we learn to be good plumbers, but becoming a businessman is education that most of us don't have. And that's why you learn from somebody who's been where you're wanting to go. I don't know everything. I didn't know about corporate credit till March. But I started asking questions. I started looking at, how do we use this? How do we grow? How do we do different things? And it really does. It makes all the difference in the world. And like I said, I'm not trying to get fundable right now. I'm not trying to borrow $100,000 today. But if I want to borrow $500,000 next year because of a great opportunity, I want to know it's there if I need it. I want to be able to go online and check my score or whatever, check my fundability or my loan amount or whatever it is. It's like, hey, look, if we need $500,000, we can go get it. Does that mean I'm going to? No. But if you have options, I teach this to plumbers every day. You don't just walk in and try to sell them a whole house water filtration system. You tell them, hey, a whole house water filtration would be great for you. Here's the options we have. Do you want to buy it with your money? Do you want to buy it with our money? Do you not want to buy one? I've tested your water. You see how bad your chlorine is. The opportunities are there, but options give us choices to do things a completely different way. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we can do. Just in case y'all hadn't noticed, it's Texas OU Saturday, and that means Texas beats OU Saturday. Just had to throw that out. I realized I was wearing burnt orange again. Chris Reeves says, I was trying to get rid of my personal credit, Dave Ramsey plan, but now I want to get another truck and equipment for my business. They're going off my personal credit, so now I have to build that back up. Okay, so somebody who had personal credit, they want to get it built back up. And Chris, I'm not sure if you have your own business or anything like that, but if there's a business owner in this position and they've messed up their corporate credit, or they've messed up their personal credit, but they're building it back. Mm-hmm. Is it better just keep going building the personal credit? Because it sounds like he wants his truck right now.
So what you need to do, it takes a little bit longer for a business owner if they don't have decent personal credit, because you got to think your company's an 18-year-old. Right. You got to hold its hand and through the process at the beginning, co-sign
which we're going through. That's what, guys, I've invited Squirt in here because he's doing that for his company, our company, Leak Pro. Amber's doing it for me, but I know Squirt's in here today, so I thought I'd holler at him, see if I can get him to jump in for just a minute, ask some questions, and see how it's going. But it's a process.
Right. Yeah. So person with bad personal credit is actually a person that should be building business credit if they have a business. It's a different journey. It's a little bit different journey. So the different journey will be actually different accounts at the beginning, but it all boils down to getting the accounts, opening the accounts, starting the business credit profile, and moving forward.
Perfect. Yeah. I guess Squirt thinks he's in there waiting to come in.
Yeah, well, it's not letting him add his camera or mic.
Okay, Squirt, we're going to kick you out.
Let me see if you just
and let you try it again. Thank you. I knew you were in there waiting. So Ken says, if you can get into the union, the training can be amazing, but it depends on the local and the work in the area. And I'm not going to disagree with you, Ken. The training, look, one of the greatest trainers I ever met was a guy named John Cullen out of Local 1. The entire Local 1 instructors, when they came to the instructor training program, they were almost like a military crew. They came in focused, dedicated, dressed alike, looked amazing, and it was always the utmost professionalism. Me with Local 100, man, we were all dressed different. We wore our same shirts one day, but it was like, look, we're there to learn and have fun. I don't know that they had fun. No, they did, but they did a completely different way. How do you feel about unqualified something higher personnel? Look, if anybody's hiring unqualified people, I don't like that. There are some plumbers. We've talked about this. I made a video about it. There's some plumbers out of California, Arizona, and I think South Carolina that are unlicensed, and they're making YouTube videos talking about how amazing they are and all that. But when you go look up the company, they're unlicensed and doing illegal stuff. So I don't agree with that. I think it's horrible. Denver Starboy says, wake up with Roger Wakefield when it's 12 p.m. Hey, wake up with Wakefield. It's a great thing to have on the app. Cheryl King says, would being an electrician be a good job? Yeah, if you were smarter, you could be a plumber. I'm joking. Look, I've got great friends that are electricians. They make amazing money. They do really well. To me, plumbing, electrical, and HVAC are the trades that if you get in, the opportunities ahead of you are phenomenal. And yeah, it's a great trade to get in. And I mean, you're going to have something that you're going to be able to fix things around your house the rest of your life. You're going to be able to help your neighbors. If you're single and you got a girlfriend, you tell her, look, hey, I can hang out chandelier for you. You're in. So it's pretty cool stuff. Plumbers Are Us says, I'm Christina. Plumbers Are Us, done in Bradstreet. Bradstreet wants me to join. Said that's how to build the company's credit. Is it true? Christina, you don't have to do that. What I would do, Brent, go ahead and tell everybody who you are, what you do, and how they can get in touch with you.
All right.
Christina, write down this number. You can call him later this evening or tomorrow. Saturday, don't call him today. call him Monday and say, hey, look, I saw you on there with Roger. I'd like to talk to you. And at least talk to somebody else. So go ahead.
So Brent Barnhart, TJ Corporate Credit, and my cell phone number is 620-212-5746. And
guys, here's the thing. It's not going to hurt you to find out about it. Just to say, hey, look, what are my options? Remember, you heard me talk about that a while ago. If you know what your options were, it's going to be good. And there's his name, Brent Barnhart. Give him a call, and we'll share his information again here in a little bit. Chris Reeves says, is there a way to get business credit without personal credit? I didn't answer that one. I mean, you can try, but if you have no personal credit, they're not going to give you business credit. Oh, okay. I just got slapped. Okay, go ahead.
There is a way to do it, but it's just going to be the start. You're going to have to bring the personal credit back at some point. There are a few accounts in our very first level that don't even look at personal credit. You got to go on net terms. You buy something from them first, and then you go net terms, but it's actually store accounts instead of credit cards and fuel cards and stuff like that. So there is a way to do it, but you're really hindered if you have bad personal credit.
All right, so we're going to try something, and why I decided to do it today, I don't know. Squirt and I had lunch yesterday, and it's like, hey, we ought to do some different things. We ought to do this. We ought to do this. I want to make sure that I can hear him since we brought him in. Squirt, how are you doing today?
Doing lovely. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic, and I can actually hear you, so this is kind of pretty cool. You're going through, and everybody knows Squirt, Randy, Henry, whatever you want to call him. You're going through all this right now. You're literally doing the things that Brent and I are sitting here talking about.
I am. I'm starting the process, lining up addresses and everything. With us relocating recently and everything, that's a few extra steps in the process at the beginning, and just working on the initial credit building steps. I'm in my grabbing my first three right now. I've got 2 out of 3 done, and starting on this process, man. It's laid out pretty well.
Okay, so which 2 have you already done?
So I signed up. I went ahead and got a fleet card.
Okay, you're talking
to
the
get
cards.
that set up. Yes, yeah, actual lines of credit for the initial start.
Okay, so he's already got the fleet card. He's working on establishing his first 3 credit places. Squirt, how's your personal credit? Is it good, bad, or ugly, or just kind of middle of the road? Or
It's pretty good.
Have you ever really tried to build your personal credit?
No, not much. But here recently, like I don't miss any payments, so it just kind of automatically built itself.
Yeah, no, and you're right, but that's what it takes. And you've never established business credit anywhere, so you've got mediocre, medium to good personal credit, and you're starting to build your business credit for League Pro, and it's great because we've got ideas to build things out here, and it's nice to know that money or whatever is available.
That's it.
I love that. Did he go through the whole 150 step profile, or is that what he's working on right now?
No, if he's already applying for credit, then he's been through the 150 items, and then he's also now been past getting registered with the bureaus.
So
he's moving along.
And Randy, you're nodding yeah to that, and I'm going to see if I can try to talk again.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Brent can hear you too.
There you go.
I turned on the speaker down under here and unplugged my headphones. We've never tried to do that because look, we're trying all kinds of new stuff around here. So, Randy, have you had any problems?
No, it's like some things take a little longer. I'm noticing, like this initial, they're like, look, you do this, pay that first invoice as quick as you can, then put it on the calendar so that we can look at 45 days later to see if it's actually registered. Because for one of the corporate credit, Equifax, I believe,
okay,
you don't really have anything there until you actually sign up for something that actually reports to them. So I'm in that process right now.
And having Brent's team to talk to find out, look, where do you go? Where do you apply? What do you get? How do you start out? And knowing, the big deal is, and this is something I really hope everybody understands, is 95% of the people that offer you credit don't report it, and even your corporate credit. So knowing where to go to get credit, where to start, because it literally starts with baby steps. It starts with like a post office box. It starts with like setting up an account with Randy to mail out leak detection equipment. And Randy was great, man. Go down there, pay it, put it on the credit card, and we're good to go, or put it on the debit card. And it was great, but we were spending money and not getting any benefit from it for credit. And at the time, Randy's probably spending $2,000 a month just mailing out Leak Pro kits. Have you checked the score lately? I doubt you have.
Yeah. I have not.
Because we've been doing this. How long you been working on this, Randy? A month, maybe?
About a month.
Okay.
About a month.
And it's I'm not going to say it's easy because I'm not doing it. And I know that you and Amber have both said, look, there's a lot of things that we've got to do because we've had business in 3 different places. Even Randy's, it started in California, then it moved to Richardson, then it moved to here. So we've got to go through and fix all that in order to grow our corporate credit. But it's something that, Randy, we're not just talking about it. We're doing it, aren't we?
That's it. I am working the process because I know the benefits that are ahead, and that's what we're striving for.
Knowing what you know now, if we started a brand new business tomorrow, we'd both be looking at each other. How do we build corporate credit right now? How do we start today and moving things that direction? Agreed?
Agreed, 100%. Because even just starting out, like it's normal, simple purchases. The business doesn't need a lot. We're small right now, but just those little bits is going to start. And that's that's where it all begins.
And the thing is, I mean, you've lived in houses owned by family, paid rent to them. You had apartments and storage units and stuff like that. But I mean, you've never really had to build a lot of big personal credit. But you did go buy a new truck recently,
Yeah,
and so your credit's not bad. You were able to buy a truck.
that's it.
And maybe next time you go buy a Lamborghini or something, and you just put it on your
Well,
corporate credit.
I'm from the trades, so child support built my credit very well.
Well, isn't that the truth? Isn't that you know what? Hey, you were my son, so I remember that too. So I do. I completely get that.
That's
Well,
it.
well, good. Any advice you'd give anybody just from what you've gone through so far? Is there anything that they need to have in place? Anything that they need to know, and just things that'll help them out starting out?
And the key is we don't know what we don't know, so it's good to just get started. Find a few companies out there that actually do report to the right places. Make sure your addresses are lined up on all of your paperwork. That's the very base step, and that's one of our biggest ones right now that we're working on in a couple other spots, trying to get those right.
So trying to get all the addresses the same, especially like I said, Leak Pro had actually had 2 addresses in California. He had we had the Richardson address, then moved out here. So really there's 4 addresses that you're trying to get combined together into one company in one location.
Yep.
You know something on the address why I like virtual addresses so much?
What's that?
Because you use a
Doesn't matter
virtual.
where you move. It's
Doesn't
always
matter
there,
where you
yeah.
move. You just forward the mail to the new address. You call one person instead of 30.
Man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is pretty
I like
cool.
that.
Well, Squirt, thank you so much. I wanted to try this, and I know I didn't give you any heads up, so I do. I appreciate you jumping in. I know you were cussing me, but it wasn't so loud I heard it back here. So I really do. Thank you very much.
All righty. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
All right, you too. Thanks, Squirt. So, guys, it's neat because it's really easy, and I'm going to say that it's really easy to fix this stuff. It's really easy if you've got somebody coaching you that knows what needs to be done and can tell you, because it does. It starts out with baby steps. It's literally like, look, go down to FedEx or UPS, set up an account and mail letters, and that may be how you start out. But you've got to start somewhere. And I think we talked earlier in the podcast, and you said in about 6 or 8 months, you start reaching that highest level of credit, because there's 4 levels, right?
Right. Yep.
Will you explain the 4 levels and really what all they mean?
Yeah. So we call them tiers. So there's tier 1, that's kind of the starter accounts. You graduate to tier 2 after you've demonstrated your ability to borrow and pay for a month and a half or 2 months, and then you graduate into that second tier. You pick a couple different cards or tools to utilize for those expenses. You do the same concept. It's a rinse and repeat. Once you get to that 4th tier, is where you get access to stuff, everything over on the EIN number. There are still some tools in there that do require a PG, but that's your choice to pick and choose what you want. So it's the tier process. Once you get to that top tier, it opens up a lot more doors for you.
Okay, tier 1, you get started. You said pretty much everybody's got a $1,500
Yep.
corporate limit from the get-go. You complete tier 1. What's that move you up to?
It just depends on how much you
spend,
how much you demonstrate your ability to borrow and pay. I told you earlier about my $6 million trucking company that had a $7,600 credit limit recommendation. It's comical. And I have a company now that I started that doesn't even have any income that has a $50,000 recommendation.
If $50,000 can go a long way to a lot of businesses. We're talking overall plumbing here. If they wake up tomorrow and look, the phones are blowing up and they realize, look, we need a new truck. We need another camera. We need another leak detection equipment, like Leak Pro. All that stuff costs money. And I remember one of my mentors from PHCC, a guy named Robert Melko, literally says, look, it cost me $100,000 to put somebody in a truck. And it was about 50, 60 grand for the truck and 50 to 40 grand to stock it with equipment, with tools, with fittings, with all that. It takes money. You're going to make it back, but it still takes money. So understanding that you have options and opportunities makes all the difference in the world. Gabriel says, yesterday, I said, I thought this yesterday, Roger. Woke up and said to myself that I wanted to start my corporate credit. Such a weird thought when you wake up. And Gabe, I'll tell you what, this is good. And if you can, put in here, what made you think that? Because, I mean, literally, until March of this year, I didn't even know about corporate credit. I just knew, okay, that there's personal credit and business credit. But when I heard Brent and what he was talking about and spoke about, I'm like, man, this is something I need to know about. And it really has. It's become a good deal. We have no professionals here doing plumbing and breaking pipes. Yeah, you don't want, and look, I don't know where all you're at, but if there's the AHJ, the authority having jurisdiction, talk to them, find out what they're doing. Is there any way they can help stop people from that? Because eventually it leads to somebody dying before they step up and do something. Watermelon says, I'm having a good leap from sedentary office job to plumbing trades. Hope I'm doing the right decision. Watermelon, I would tell you, I think you are, because look, if you're working in an office, you're growing someone else's business for the most part. Plumbing, you can grow your mindset, grow your skills, and eventually one day grow your own business. So that's how I look at it. Ken says, I never worked with my hands, but joined the plumbing trade. Still, it was scary, but man, it's the best decision I've ever made for myself and my family. Overall Plumbing says, how do I get a hold of you after this interview to talk to you about getting corporate credit? Go ahead and share your information again. I know we've talked about it.
Yep. I'm Brent with TJ Corporate Credit, and my number is 620-212-5746. And Roger said, don't call me on Saturday. I answer my phone all the time, and on Sunday.
But he's in Dallas. He's wanting to hang out, you know. Call and leave him a message, text him, something like that. Plumbers R Us says, how do you get corporate credit? Do you go through Dun & Bradstreet, have an EIN number? Never works for approval. Have an EIN number, and it never works for approvals. So people that have an EIN number, it doesn't just mean they have corporate credit. Well, maybe $1,500. But like I said, never works for approval. They're not doing the things to build that corporate credit. It's like your personal credit. Just because Target gave you a $200 gift card the day you graduated high school, or $200 credit card, and you used it once or twice, doesn't mean you can go borrow $50,000.
Right. So the Dun & Bradstreet, you know, it's funny. They are kind of everybody always called them the granddaddy of the business credit world. Experience quickly becoming the largest. But if you go out, I'll give you an example. Home Depot and Lowe's. If you go to Home Depot and Lowe's and apply for corporate credit, you're not going to get it unless you have a Dun & Bradstreet number, and neither one of them even report to Dun & Bradstreet. And it's always been, I guess, a staple in that you have corporate credit because they were the first ones to do it. So they put that on all the applications. It seems silly, but if you know your Dun & Bradstreet number when you're applying for credit places, most of the time they're going to go, oh, they must know a little bit about building corporate credit. And so I told you that the company has no income. I have both a Lowe's and a Home Depot corporate credit card.
And you use them.
I do.
Personally. There's a reason. No, I get it. I get it. TPPT says, housing is being bought up by huge hedge funds, yes, and neighborhoods, bought by banks, and maintenance has fallen off. No professionals anymore. Man, that's happening all around the country. And guys, and people talk to me all this time about VC groups, stuff like that, that they're buying up, that they're rolling up, like I'm talking about. Not just buying plumbing companies, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, roofing, all these things, tying them together as one. Now it's a bigger company, higher annual revenue, and their multiplier goes up exponentially. Gabe says, have a really important question for Roger. I think everyone wants to know. Man, that's an easy question. That's not even a tough one. Texas should blow them out of the water. It doesn't always happen that way, though. I love watching this game because it doesn't matter who's ranked number 1 and who's ranked number 20. Normally, it's a good game. But no matter what time it is, oh, look, it's 3. I got 3 minutes till 12 here, 3 minutes till 12 here. OU still sucks. I mean, it is what it is. Denver says, Roger, what are your thoughts on industrial jobs? Feel like half the time I'm sitting around. Work is a lot slower than residential. Half the time I'm a spotter while dude is on the lift. Man, look, industrial is a slower pace. You can't build and maintain this big building as easy as somebody does a house. So it's normally slower. It's normally a lot more focused on safety. There's so many different things, but and it's a learning experience. Think about what you're learning, the way you can grow, and the way this can help you in the future. Currently working at an EV battery plant, $4 billion project. It's not a bad project. Wonder what kind of corporate credit they have. Plumbers R Us says, but how do we register with Equifax for our business? The question is unanswered. How do they register with Equifax?
So Equifax, they want to be cute, right? They're a little bit different. So you actually have to get a tool, credit card, fuel card, something along those lines that reports to them, and then they create your account. So the thing that's cool is inside of our platform, all of our vendors, institutions, banks, whatever, they have to tell us 2 things or we don't work with them. They have to tell us which bureau they report to. Some report to 1, some report to 2, some report to all 3. So they have to tell us that. Then they also have to tell us what their approval criteria is. That's how we can do this so quick. You look at the Lowe's corporate credit card and you say it shows you what you have to do to get qualified. You apply, you get it, as long as you have all that checklist.
Because it makes it easy. But understanding, and Plumbers R Us, understanding, I mean, think about what he just said. If you can open a credit account somewhere that reports to all 3 entities, instead of one that just reports to one or one that doesn't even report to any of them for corporate, if you're not going to the one that reports to all 3, it's like it's just going to take you longer to get there. And that's why 150 steps to go through to make sure you're doing everything right. And here's the deal. If you hadn't done these 150 steps yet, if you've got multiple addresses for your business or multiple phone numbers or multiple this or your website's not working right, there's a lot of different things that can hurt you. Get everything done before you do this. That way it's not like, it's like this. It's like, well, I'm going to go in and apply for $1 million loan today. I got denied. Well, okay, well, now I'm going to start building my credit. No, there's steps and orders you do things in to make it a smoother process. Yes, Keith Newman, Roger Wakefield, the Plumbers, Hulk Hogan. I get called Hulk Hogan. I get called Dave Ramsey. I get called John Maxwell. It's I'm just a plumber, guys. My local plumbers are fantastic, but $400 emergency every time it's an emergency calls apartments. Look, here's the deal. If they're charging $400 and they're working, it's because people are paying $400. It's not the price that you sell your product for. It's the value you provide with it. If it was just the price, Kia and Mercedes-Benz would be sold to everybody for the same price. Some people pay more for the value. Guys, you've got to understand this in the trades. Supply more value, you're worth more money, and you can charge more money. Okay, so how do we work with you? My name is Christina. I'm the owner. I need guidance. Okay, so you've got that by now. Unions, according to dock workers, seemed like a bad thing. Unions aren't a bad thing. And I love that because people that tell me unions are bad have never freaking been in the union. People that are in the union tell me open shop is horrible, have never worked open shop. I've done it all. There's benefits to both sides. There's good things about working open shop. There's good things about being in the union. So, you want to talk about that one day where we can sit and talk about all of it? I am up for it. Can you tell me your company to call the man in the black shirt? Brent, go ahead.
TJ Corporate Credit, and that's actually the website, tjcorporatecredit.com.
Gabe Leal says, how we connect both of you. I want to learn more about these services to help establish corporate credit. Brent, Gabe, there you go, man. Hey, just question, okay? Plumbers or us. What's your company name? There you go, guys. We just did that. Christina, make sure you reach out. Alejandro Salgado says, not a plumber, but thank you for having this podcast. Union Laborers, Launa, Local 1001 in Chicago. Alejandro, thank you for being in here. Watch your live here on LinkedIn and YouTube. Double dipping. I love it. Water Malone, TDN says, I'm enlisting for the National Guard and studying plumbing for the military. Do you know if our certification is the same thing with normal trade schools? It's not, but here's what's good, TDN. If you learn plumbing in the military, make sure you get your CO to write a letter that you've been doing that. I was able to help an apprentice go from second year to fourth year because I reached out to his CO. He reached out to his CO. We reached out to the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners, and we're able to prove this guy had been plumbing for 2 years in the Marines. And are like, look, we'll give him credit for that. We just need proof. So it's a good thing. Watermelon, yeah, I've been thinking of leaping into plumbing next year after my Christmas vacation. How can I get my mustache on point? Man, it takes a little while. E.T., what's up? Got E.T. in the house. Clicked on the wrong one there. OU sucks. Man, I thought I just said that. I agree with you. Hook 'em, brother. Plumbers are us says, and I've got one here. I don't know what's wrong. It won't let me click on. I got one right here and I don't know what's wrong. See if I can find it over here. Where's ET at? I'm trying to see this one question right here. Oh no, I'm right around in here. Gabe, where did ET go? ET's not showing. Oh, ET, you're not on YouTube, are you? All right. I'm trying to find. There's one here because it looks like a question. And all I can see is part of it. It says, Dunn's number at all. They wanted my EIN and something. And all I can see is part of it, and I don't know why. And if that's you, ET, it's not showing me your whole message. Oh, well. Put it in again, guys. Plumbers R Us says, I have a Lowe's business card, and they are reporting to my personal. How do I fix that? It's one of the 150 steps along the way. Denver says, Roger, would you ever go on a talk show with Dave Ramsey? Oh, absolutely. I went on with Dr. Phil. I've been on with Dr. Phil. I've been on with the Today Show with Hoda and what's her name? The one I talked to, Savannah. I went on Chris Cuomo with him and Mike Rowe. So, yeah, talk shows don't bother me at all. Jay Pace is Union Garbage Man, Local 179, Joliet, Illinois, thinking about going into plumbing. Brother, it would be so good for you. And you're in Chicago, man. The Plumbers Union there is phenomenal, and they'll probably speed up your little process since you're already union. So good luck to you. TPPT says 8 foot deep elbow. How do I get past that without drilling a hole in the floor? You don't. Or you tunnel up under it, depending on where you're located. Why don't you answer that 150 step? Well, Christina, I don't know how many answers you want. Call him. We've answered just about every question that I've seen come through.
Yeah, so what I guess,
unless you want us to go over 150 points, and we ain't doing that today.
Right. So I'll tell you, one of those 150 points could be off, and they're not finding your credit profile on the business side, so they're reporting to your personal side.
Yeah, and I saw that one a while ago, but I mean, about the 150 points. Christina, I promise you, I think we've answered every question you've asked. We've tried. It catches every time. Yeah, you're going to have to try running a camera and look at it. Maybe you don't need to go in and repair it. Water Malone says, funny thing, I almost watch all of Roger's videos to help me with my decision, and it does really help. Thank you, sir. TDN says, imagining Mr. Roger getting on the Talk to a podcast. You know, and that's one I don't know much about her. I got to tell y'all. I've seen a couple of things just because it's on the internet and I've heard the name, but stuff like that just doesn't do anything for me.
I just saw the other day that she had a podcast.
I didn't know she had a podcast. I'd seen her on TikTok or something.
Yeah.
Okay, force it. No, run a camera down, look at it, see what kind of problems you have. So that's what it'll pop to. There you go. That's a good one. So corporate credit. I've talked to companies that do, $40-50 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
All their credit is based on one of the owner's social security numbers and his credit score and things like that. Is that really a good way to grow a business?
If you want to keep your personal assets at risk all the time, it's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to protect your personal assets, it's about creating that separation. Why do we start a corporation? To separate our personal assets.
You bet. Why do you do an LLC? That way it's not tied to you.
Yep.
Watermelon says, Roger, if I move to Texas, will you make me your apprentice? Willing to do the grunt work for you. I've got squirt for that. I don't mean that bad, but look, I don't run a plumbing company anymore, so I don't need an apprentice. But really, man, Squirt's a great apprentice. He gets everything set up and ready for my videos. I mean, he does everything for me, guys. So I do. I've kind of got it made. This has been fun. Getting in and starting a business is difficult in the beginning. And if you want to do things right, you need to hire a coach. You need to hire a mentor. You need to take a course. You need to do something. And TikTok, Instagram, I'm talking to y'all too. You've literally got to do so many things right to keep from getting in trouble. You've got to have insurances. You've got to have licenses. You've got to have attorneys, believe it or not. You need a great attorney and a great CPA before you ever start a business, and ask them questions. But to me, part of having a great CPA is getting somebody to teach you how to have access to money if you need it, because money flow is one of the biggest problems that companies have, especially when we first start out. And I'm not saying you're going to be able to build a lot of corporate credit without making any money yet, but Brent's already told you he's got $50,000 in corporate credit for a company that literally he told them, look, we don't make money. We don't do anything.
Well, correct. I use that for my everyday expenses and pay for it personally. I did it just to build a credit profile.
Guys, this is a game changer. And corporate credit is something most businesses don't even know about. And that's why the day I heard about this, I'm like, look, we've got to find out how to do something, because tradespeople need to know what y'all know. Tradespeople need to know how to grow their businesses. And it takes money to grow. You can't just start a business today and say, hey, I'm going to do $10 million this year. Well, that's great. You better be able to buy about 30 trucks and have about 30 trucks full of equipment and fittings and tools to do the work. And figuring it's about $100,000 each, multiply that by 30. Do you have $30 million laying around, or $3 million laying around just to build that out? Because that's what it's going to take to build a company that size. And it's so much smarter to be able to build it along the way with credit, instead of, hey, we'll just wait till we make that much money, then we'll buy that. Because if you're making 20% profit, which is a really good margin to make, it's still going to take a while. So, and that's without spending any money. Get to the grunts. Why women don't work in plumbing course, they want to TikTok and say, I know plenty of women that work in plumbing. Denver says, I bet Roger has a huge house. It's not huge, but it's not small. Men matter. Your pipes won't clean themselves. Great, huge workload. Credit through ESGL. Here's the deal. You don't want credit through your personal, your business, anything like that. You want corporate credit. There's a chat bot reminding y'all about Go High Level. And I don't think that there's supposed to be a dash in there, but I think if you put it, it may show up anyway. How do people work with you? I know we've talked about it a few times, but if somebody's out there and they're like, look, I've never even heard of corporate credit. They're out there and they're like, look, I've heard of it. I want to get started, or I've heard of it and I've talked to Dun & Bradstreet and this is what all they want. And, you know, guys, you're going to end up working with Dun & Bradstreet. You're going to end up, let me correct this. You're going to end up having a Dun & Bradstreet number, a DMB number. But how do people go about working with you and what's it look like?
So schedule a meeting with me. I walk you through the process, what it looks like to work with us. You get the one-on-one coaching, phone call conversation. You pick up the phone. You know, I love it. It's great for people in the trades because if you have an outdoor plumbing job or electric job or whatever it is you're doing today, and it decides it's going to start raining on you, you can actually go back to your house or office and pick up the phone and call my team, and they will actually work with you right then and there. It takes us about 5 minutes to set everything up. And then the second we get you set up, you have instant access to the platform. You can get in there and start looking at it. And usually within an hour, somebody from my team is calling. In fact, when Roger came on, I'm going to call him Squirt and Amber.
Got calls before we were off
We
the
were
phone.
still on Zoom, and then my back office was calling them.
Yeah. So, guys, look, it's a great thing to do. It's a great way to do it. This is preparing yourself. And I'm not saying anybody needs the money right now, but it's nice to know that you've got access to $50,000, to $1 million, to whatever it is. You don't have that unless you start doing the things right to build it. And it's knowing the right things to do. It's knowing how to do them. And it's getting in and doing them and making sure that those things happen.
You know, you want to know the biggest thing I hear when I talk to people on a Zoom call or whatever? I wish I would have known about this 10 years ago. Where would I be?
I said the same thing the day I was sitting there talking. I mean, I'm literally writing down in my notes like WTF. It's like, why have I never heard of this? And that's why when I did, I was like, you know what? I want to make sure that my people understand. I want to make sure that my people hear about it, know about it, and understand it. So, again, one more time, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and how they can get in touch with you.
All right. Brent Barnhart, TJ Corporate Credit, helping business owners get funding and buy trucks, anything they want to do on the EIN number with no personal guarantee. Best way to get a hold of me, honestly, is to shoot me a text, give me a call, 620-212-5746, and our website's tjcorporatecredit.com. The corporate number on there will ring my cell phone as well.
You know, guys, there's so many good things going on when it comes to running a business. It's a whole new world. You get excited about it, but there's also there's certain things that you need to do to make it easier on you. If you're not hiring an accountant, if you're not hiring a CPA, if you're just winging it, you're trucking a truck, you're doing everything by yourself, guys, that's going to kill you. Learn how to do things right, and building that corporate credit from the get-go is something that's really going to help you out. Remember that this video is sponsored by Go High Level. If you need the tools to help you grow your business, it's an amazing CRM. It's an amazing funnel. There's so many things about it, but the very first things are you set up where people can text your number on your website? And if they call you and you don't answer, send them a text back saying, hey, look, I know we missed a call from you, but I want to talk to you. What can I do for you? You've got to get so many different things set up that will make running your business easier and automated, so it frees you up to do a lot of other things. So go to www.gohighlevel.com/Roger Wakefield and, man, start growing your business, and then learn to do it the right way so you're growing your credit too. TDN says, thank you for your advice earlier. As a thank you, here's a joke. Have you seen a movie with a little fish? Got lost after finding it. After finding out it has cancer. It's called Finding Chemo. That's pretty good. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. It's been a great day. Brent, thank you for being here. The value that you bring, the things that you do are phenomenal, and makes it easy for people to grow their companies better. TikTok, Instagram, thank y'all so much. I'll get with y'all here in just a second. But guys, we try to do this every Saturday. I'm not always here on Saturdays. A lot of times I'm traveling, I'm doing different things. But there you go. Water Malone says, I decided to be a plumber. Good for you. Guys, I try to do this every Saturday. If I'm in town, I can. If I'm out of town, sometimes it's hard. But we're trying to work on that too. So maybe we'll find a way to do it. I just wanted to tell each and every one of y'all, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate you allowing me to do what I do. And I enjoy this. But I enjoy it because of the people that I get to help. So thank each and every one of y'all for being here. And hopefully I will see y'all again next Saturday. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, helping you make more money in the trades.